If you're a freelance designer or a web designer, the challenge kicks in as soon as you get the design brief. So what I'm going to do today is something a bit different. I was going through my messages here in my support chat and I came across this message from Fanny. So he asked me a question and the question involves a bit of a design. So I thought, you know what, why don't I just do this design brief and design this project as if I was doing it for a client, so that you guys can see behind the scenes what sort of stress, what sort of pressure, the testing, and what goes on behind the scenes as soon as you get a design brief. All right, so let's read the brief. So the brief goes something along like this. Hi Mac, my client wants a landing page for a single physical product to sell. It should be linked to Stripe, offer upload of files, and the option to choose or buy several items of the same product. I'm looking for a simple solution as a client wants to duplicate this one product selling page for other products. That's the brief. So that's what we're going to do. So straight away, when I read this, I was thinking to myself, WooCommerce, Divi, that's my starting point. I can create a landing page for a single product. Very, very easy using the new WooCommerce builder. But when it comes to the checkout page, I'm thinking maybe we could use something like cart flows. So here we go. So what I'm going to do here is I've gone ahead and in fact, I've got a website that I'm going to start with. So this is what we're going to do here. So I have WooCommerce already installed. So the very first thing here we need to do is to create the product. So I'm just going to create any random product because it doesn't really matter what product it is as we're designing this. So over here on products, I'm going to click on add new. So my product here is just going to be, okay, let's call this heels. Okay, and we also need a description to this. So I'm going to come over here to my lorem text. I'm going to copy some of my text here and paste it. And then over here, we also have a product short description. So I'm going to paste some of this text in here. Right, now we need the pricing. So this shoe here we're going to have is going to cost, let's say, $599. There's no sale price on it. And I won't bother with the categories for now. I'm just going to create a landing page for this product. So now that I have this, I'm going to click on publish. And I'm just going to click on update. All right, so now we have our product and our product description. The next stage now is to actually design this landing page for this product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to pages and click on add new. So we need a brand new page, which is going to act as our landing page. So over here, let us call this, okay, let's call this heels. Use Divi Builder. So this design is going to be built from scratch. So I'm going to click on build from scratch. And for this, we are going to need a layout, which is say 2/3, 1/3. I'm going to close this for now. Next, I'm going to come over here now to my section settings. I'm going to go to background and add an image. So I have the image already prepared. So I'm going to click on the third tab, click on this plus button to add my background image. And I'm going to go with this image right here. Click upload an image. And now you can see my image in the background. So I'm just going to snap this over to the left so I can see my design as I'm working on this. All right, so I'm done with the background. I'm going to save this. And then over here now, we need to start adding our Woo modules. And you know what we did? We actually forgot to add our product image on the very first step. And like I said, this is going to be like a behind the scenes, so you get to see the mistakes that I make and everything that goes wrong with this. I'm not going to edit this a lot, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how I get on with this. And also, if you are brand new to Divi and you don't have Divi yet, if you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I will give you access to my web design formula course. This is a course that teaches you how to design professional looking websites with Divi. All right, so I'm going to save this page and go back. So I'm going to click here on dashboard. In fact, I'll just leave this open and let's go to our product. So I'm going to come over here to all products. and we are going to add our product image here. Right, so our product image comes over here. I'm going to click on select, and this is our image, set product image. And there's also one thing that I need to do here, and that is to set up my page layout. So over here, you can see I have right sidebar and so on. In fact, let me just update this for now. So all my settings are all saved. So what I would like to do here is to make sure that this page does not have a header and a footer, since this is going to act as a landing page. But before I can actually go in and do that, let me just go back over here and let's start building this page, because that could be the last stage that we do that. Okay, so I've just refreshed this. I'm going to click here on this plus button, and I'm going to search for Woo image. So this is where I get to add my main image. So here you can see it says latest product. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I select the product that I need to use here. So I'm going to choose heels. Okay, now I can customize this and play around with the design and make it look the way I want. So the next stage now is to come over here to design, and I'm going to go to border and add some rounded corners on this. So let's go with 10. I'm going to save that. Next, I'm going to add my product name. So I'm going to click here on this plus button. So I'm going to say Woo title. And again, I'm going to choose my product. Now let me customize this text. So I'm going to come over here to design, title text, and I'm going to use a different font here. So let's go with Playfade Display. Let's make it bold. In fact, you know what? Let's leave it as regular. I think that looks stylish like that. I've changed my color here. Now let's play around with the sizes. So I'm going to increase this, make it nice and big. I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to drag this above. So we need more information about this heel. So I'm going to come over here and add Woo description. There we go. So the very first thing I'm going to do is to change my, in fact, the description is okay. I'm going to change my text. And we're going to change this to Playfade Display. Change the color. And let's change the size as well. Make this slightly bigger. Let's go with 18. And we also need to add some line height. So I'm going to go with 1.8. Let's save changes. All right, so it's coming along slowly, slowly. The next stage is to add, let's add the price. Okay, so we're going to go with the add to cart, okay? Because we need to be able to add multiples of this product. So as you can see here, it starts off as 1, but we need to be able to add, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. Okay, so now let's go in and let us customize this. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon to work on my button. So I'm going to activate use custom styles for button. So the color we're going to go with here is, let's have a look. So that's going to be our text color. So I'm going to add, no, that doesn't look great. All right, so let's go with this here as our color. I'm going to remove the borders. I really like the rounded corners here. So you know what? Let me leave my borders as they are. So all I have to do now is to add my border color so it matches what I have in there. So I'm just going to bring this down to about 2. So it's the same size as this. Great. So for our add to cart, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to change the font here. This time I'm going to use something like a Poppins, so it really stands out. And I'm going to also make it all caps. There we go. Okay, so it's nice and bold. Now over here, I'm not going to worry about the color here because it pretty much looks okay as it is. So I'm going to save. Now I am going to add the price. So again, I'm going to search for Woo price. There we go. And select that. And then we're going to go in and customize this. So here I'm going to go to my price and change the color. So this time I'm going to make it nice and dark and also choose play fade display. Let's make this text bigger. Now let's play around with bold and see what happens. Yeah, I think I like bold this time. So let's set it to about 40. So I'm going to save that. Drag this above. Now you can see here on this area here, this button here, I mean this, what do I call it? The space where we can increase the amounts. Anyway, let me go in and show you what it is. I'm going to go in here and I think I'm going to give this a border because it's blending with the background. Okay, so my text focus color, let's go to my field text color here. And I also want to add my field's background color. So the color I'm going to go with is, right, so I'm debating whether I should go with a really dark gray or a light gray. So let me go with a light gray without the transparency because that transparency was not doing this any justice. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as it is. And then I'm going to come over here to my fonts and choose Poppins. There we go. So that looks much better now. I'm going to save that. So now we have the title. We also have the description here. In fact, you know what? Why don't we add the title over here? I think that looks better. Okay. Again, these are the sort of decisions that you make as you're building your page. So the title is going to come over here and this is going to be our main product. Okay. So now that we have this in place, let's try and customize this. Give it a bit of breathing space so it really stands out. So I'm going to go with, let's go with 100. Okay, so far this is what our description looks like. Now what we could do here is if this image here in the background is in the way, what we can do is we can go in here and click on, let's click on background. So you can see here I've just added a background onto that. Now the next stage is to give this some breathing space. So I'm going to give it a padding of 20 all around. Okay, there we go. So over here on the border, I'm going to give this 10. Okay, so my description here, I know we can't really see it. That's because the color is very close to what we have here in the background. So let's see if we can change this color. There we go. So you can see now it's much better, but it's a distraction. So I'm going to drag this all the way down like that. Okay, I think we'll go with that. Okay, we're going to save that. Now, moving on, there are also other things that we may need to add here on our description. So what we can do is, since we are going with a simple design here, this could be pretty much okay. Now, we also have something that we need to add here, and that is an option to upload a file. So I'm going to click here on this plus button. Now, the option to upload a file is a bit tricky. There are plugins out there that we can use to achieve this. And these are all paid plugins. So for this tutorial, to be honest, I won't be buying the plugin. But once you actually go in and set up the plugin, what it does is, in fact, I've got Happy Forms here. This one here is a pretty decent one. So if I click on all forms, I just want to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to click on all forms. So here you can see I have upload file and we have sample form. Now, I haven't bought the paid option because the paid option is the one that gives you the actual feature to upload. So what happens is you get this shortcode once you've created the upload form, and then you copy the shortcode, and then over here on your site, you can just add text module like that. and then you can just paste in your shortcode, and that is where the upload item would go. So I'm going to pretend here that I have my the upload file here. So let's style this a bit. So I'm going to go into my row settings here and click on design spacing, and I'm going to give this a padding of, let's go with 30 this time. So it's going to be 30 all around. And then I'm going to give this a border. So again, I want my border to go all around, and my border width is going to be 2. And for my border style, I want to make it dashed. Okay, so it really stands out. Okay, so now that I have all this, I can now add in, whatever text it is that I need to notify the customer that they need to upload a file over here. So let's play around with the colors here one more time. So let's go with something a bit different here, something that really stands out. Okay, we're going to go with this dark gray. So I'm going to save that. So now you can see this is our product landing page. It has the upload feature. It also has the add to cart. Now, what I would do here, because if we use this add to cart here, this add to cart will take us to the WooCommerce setup. And the WooCommerce add to cart does not really look great. So this is where I would actually use cart flows. So I'm going to save this, and I'll show you quickly how I can actually add cart flows to this. Okay, so I've saved this. Next, I'm going to export it. So I'm going to click here on portability, and I'm just going to call this product. Export Divi Builder. Okay, so my product now has been exported. So I'm just going to close this, save this page, and then now I'm going to go to my dashboard. So here we're going to go to cart flows. Click on flows. And since the client wants to duplicate these products, it's actually easy now to come in here and duplicate them over here. So I'm going to start by creating a brand new flow. So I'm going to click on add new, and I'm going to go with, with this step, you can just go with any flow because we're going to override it anyways. So I'm going to go with this one here. So let's call this heels. So for my landing page, I'm just going to first of all save this. So I just want to make sure it's all saved. Okay, so now let's go into our landing page and work on it. So I'm going to click here on edit. Now this step here is very, very important. I'm going to copy this step because this is what's going to allow us to move from the landing page onto the checkout page. So I've just copied that, and I'm just going to delete this because we are going to use our own layout. So to add our layout, I'm going to click on these 2 arrows again, click import, and then now I'm going to import the layout that we've just created, and it is in my downloads. So I'm going to come over here, double click on that, click open. Import builder layout. So now it's importing that layout that we built a few moments ago. Okay, so this is our layout. I'm going to click update. Right, so we can see here we still have our add to cart. In fact, you know what? Let me show you what this looks like on the front end. My computer is really, really slow. There we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the front end. So you can see here is our add to cart button. So we want to get rid of this add to cart button because we are going to add our own button. So let's delete this. And let's add another button here. So I'm going to click and search for button. Let's call this add to cart. And then for my link, I'm going to paste the link that I've just copied. So this is going to take us to the next stage. Now let's stylize our button by coming over here to design, button, use custom styles for button. And then we're just going to add our colors. Go with my background color here. And the border. All right, so that's my add to cart button. And I'm just going to change the font as well. Change this to Poppins. I'm going to make it bold. Okay, so that looks great. I'm going to save that. Save this one more time. So now we need to add some negative margin here. So I'm going to click on my section settings here, click on design, spacing, and I'm going to add -80. Okay, so that has worked. Save that. Save it one more time. And now let's exit the Visual Builder. Okay, so this is our basic page. It has our product. This is our image here. It has the title, the description, and it also has our add to cart. Okay, so now what we need to do is to click on edit step. So here we need to go back to edit flow. And then let's start working on our checkout page. So this is where we're going to spend a bit of time. So I'm going to click here on edit. So first of all, we need to add our product, and we've named our product heels, remember? There we go. So that's our product. I have no coupon code, so I'm going to leave that as it is. So all these features here we don't really need. So that's the order bump, the checkout offer. Checkout design is important here because we can either choose to have a 2-column structure or a single column, but I'm just going to leave this as it is. The font here is fine. Now here on the checkout fields, we can enable custom field editor. So this is where now we can remove the items that we don't need. So as you can see, there's a lot here to add as someone is buying the product. So if we click on this little icon here, we can actually remove some of these that we don't need. But it's up to you what you want to change or what you want to leave on this. So now that I've selected the fields that I need, and over here on the shipping, this is also important because remember, this is a physical product. So you can remove items that you don't need on this list. Click update. Now, there's also a few things I need to do in regards to the product. So I'm going to go to checkout settings. So my button here is going to be called Buy Now. Next, I'm going to enable cart editing on checkout. So let's take a look and see what this page looks like. So I'm going to click update. And then I am going to take a look at this in a new tab. All right. So as you can see here, we have the products, and we can proceed to PayPal or Stripe. Now I know we mentioned that we need Stripe for this to work. Okay, that's not a problem. I can show you where to add Stripe. So back over here, in fact, it's not what we need. So back over here, there's also an option where we need to be able to add multiple items. All right, so back over here on my checkout page, if we need to allow the customer to be able to purchase more than one item, you come over here and enable product options. So here, there's quite a few. Enable quantity, so you can enable that here. Okay, so let's update and take a look at this. So I've just enabled the quantity. So now I just need to go on my checkout page and refresh it. So you can see here we have our quantity, so we can increase it to more than one. So now I've just added 2, and you can see here my price has increased. So the idea now is to have this in a position where it's easy for the clients to see it. So over here, these are the positions. So after customer details, we can say before checkout, we can say before order review. So let me say before order review, click update and see what position that is. So again, I'm going to come over here and refresh. So let's refresh this page one more time. So this doesn't look great here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my form here from a 2-step to a single form. Right, so at the moment you can see it's 2 columns. So I'm going to set this to what column? 1 column. Click update. Update one more time. So this is how difficult it is, or how much it takes time to actually work on an actual brief behind the scenes. Because sometimes when I do these tutorials, it looks, quite easy because there's a lot of editing that has been done. Okay, so here are the billing details, and as you scroll down here, there's the product, the quantity. So you can adjust the quantity over here, and then once you're happy with it, you can just click apply. Now, if you don't want this coupon code, you can get rid of it over here. So let me show you where you can get rid of that. So over here on checkout fields, you can actually remove this item here, because this is what enables the coupon field. And enable additional field, we can get rid of that as well if we don't need it. And if you want to add ship to a different address, you can also add it on there. So now I'm going to click update. And let's take a look at our page now. Okay, so here we go. So now we don't have the option for the coupon code. Okay, so this looks great. Now what we need to do is to pretty much customize this top area here. And to do that, I'm just going to enable the Visual Builder, and we're just going to go in quickly and just customize, make it look much better. So first of all, let's change the color here. Go to background and add our own color. Save that. And then this could be Amazing Heels. So that's the name of the product, and you can add your description in here as well. And we can also add an image here. So let's go into our settings and add our image. And it is right here. So this will just give us an idea of what the product is. And over here, where we have the actual checkout, I can go in and customize the size as well, because it's a bit too wide. So I'm going to work on this and bring it down to about, let's go with 66. So I'm going to save that, save this one more time. Now, if you don't need all these items here on the bottom, all you have to do is to just delete it. And then that just gets rid of it. All right, so this is looking great now. If you don't need this seal, what you can actually do is to delete that. And if we go into our columns here, we could do that. So now our shoe or our heels look much better. And let's save this. All right, so now we're going to exit the Visual Builder. And this is what it looks like. So this is our checkout page. Now, as you can see, we have PayPal activated here by default. Let's fix that. So I'm going to go back to WooCommerce, click on Dashboard. settings, and then I'm going to go for payments. So this is where I can set up all my payments. So as you can see, we have PayPal here. We also have all these other options. So I'm going to disable that, save changes, and then I'm going to come over here to extensions, and let's see if we can find Stripe. Okay, so it looks like I have to add it as a plugin. So I'm going to click on Add New, search for WooCommerce, Stripe. So there we go. So WooCommerce Stripe Payment Gateway. I'm going to click on Install Now. It is quite popular. You can see it has 600,000 installations, so it's really cool. I'm going to click on Activate. And then once activated, I can go back to WooCommerce, Settings, and now I can go to Payments. So you can see here, my Stripe has been added, so I can just activate it there. And there's more Stripe items here. There's Alipay, Stripe 24, and so on. To be honest, I haven't used any of these. I just use the normal Stripe. It's just the standard one. So to set it up, you want to come over here to Setup. So you need to have a Stripe account because you're going to need to add your publishing key, your secret key, and so on, because this is what makes it actually work. Okay, so let's say we've added all that. Click on Save. Our shop is almost ready to go with our product. Now, I noticed that when I was taking a look at my product here, things did not look really okay. So let's go to Flows and click on Edit. So there's a few adjustments I need to make now. So I'm going to click on View. Okay, so you can see here that things are not aligned correctly. So I'm going to enable the Visual Builder and try and fix this. So let's start with the title here. So I'm going to give this some negative margins. So as I'm looking at this, this looks quite bare. So I'm going to click on this plus button and start adding a few items. So let's see. We could add the Woo gallery. So if we have more images, we could add our images here in the gallery. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to accept that and then show you how to add the gallery on this area here. So I'm going to save this. Now the gallery has to be added when you go to the actual product. So I'm going to come over here to products, click on all products, and then click on edit. So my images can be added here on my gallery images. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add quite a few images here that don't relate to this, just to show you that this is where we can add them. Okay, let's add a few more. Okay, let's go with 3. Add to gallery, update. So now let's refresh this page. So now we can see that we have our gallery, and this is where you can decide how many images you want to have. You can have more than 5, but ideally you want to keep them at maybe 4 because it looks much better when there's 4 on there. And also on the gallery here, you can also decide whether you're going to have a slider as we have here, or you're just going to have your images like that. So I want to change this to 4 images. Delete one of these. Click update. Now, back over here on our landing page, I need to fix this because our gallery has been added by default here. So I'm going to click on the settings. Click on elements. Show gallery images. I'm going to say no to that. And save. So now we've just removed our gallery images. Let's customize this one now. So I'm going to go into my settings, content. I'm going to choose heels because this is our main product. And then over here on the design, I'm going to click on layout and change it from slider to grid. Now, while we're here on the grid, we have the opportunity to play around with the overlay. So as you can see, my overlay here doesn't look great. So I'm going to go in and choose a color. So in this color here, we're going to add transparency. So that looks better. And we can also change the icon. Now there's also a few things I need to fix here. So the caption, I don't really want this caption here. So let's find a way to disable it. So here on the content, we can say no to that and no to the pagination. You know what? As I look at this, I think we're better off with a slider. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, it's too big. Next, I'm going to come to sizing and reduce the width. It's a bit too much. So I think I'll go with that. That looks much better. So 56 is, I think, great for this. And then we're going to save this. So the next stage is to add a title to this. So I'm going to go in and add a single column and add a text module. So what we're going to do here is to just give this "Buy this amazing product." So that's going to be our title here. That's going to go all the way to the top. Click on design, text, and we're going to change this to, let's go with Playfair display. We're going to make it bold. So over here on the letter spacing, I'm going to reduce this to, let's say, -2. And then for our color, let's go with that. And then save. Then all I have to do now is to drag this to the top. Next, I'm also going to add a divider here. So let me just activate my layers view because I can't really see where I am. Okay, so this is my section. Okay, so now I'm going to add a divider to this. So click on this plus button, search for divider. So over here on the design, we're going to add a color to this. We're going to adjust the sizing. Let's go with 7. And for our width, we're going to bring this down to about, let's say, 30 or even 32. Okay, so I think that looks okay. So let's give this a bit of space. So for the padding top, I'm going to give this, let's say, 10. And then 0 for the bottom. All right, so now I'm going to save this. So we're pretty much almost there. So this is going to be our landing page. Now, as I'm looking at this, to be honest, I don't really like this background that I've added over here. So I'm just going to go back in and get rid of it. Delete that. And we're also going to change the spacing and get rid of this and get rid of this as well. All right, so now that I've gotten rid of all the sides, I can save this now, and this is going to work as our landing page. So we have the ability to upload our stuff, and over here we also have our main product title and a divider there. So I'm going to save this, exit the Visual Builder, there we go. So what happens now when we click on Add to Cart? So if I click here on Add to Cart, this is now going to take me to my checkout page. So on this checkout page, we can add our products. So let's say you want to add 2 or 3. You can see the price here is increasing. Now it says here, sorry, it seems there is no available payment methods for this state. That is because Stripe is not connected. But if it was connected, I can just click on Buy Now and pretty much everything is all set. So over here as well, you can just add the word checkout so people know that they're on the checkout page. Now there's one final thing I need to do here, and that is to make sure that this is going all the way. So let's go in and edit that. So I'm going to click on Edit Step. And then for my name, we're going to make it 100%. Click Update. And then finally, if I go to this page, I want to reduce the width of this. This is way too much. So let's enable the Visual Builder here. So I'm going to go into Design, Sizing, and we're going to say maximum width. Let's go with 880. All right, so now I can exit the Visual Builder, and now my form looks much better. So that is how I would do it. So as you can see, it does take a bit of time, and it's not as straightforward when you're working with a brief right away. So what I've done here is I've gone in very quickly and started tackling this without actually planning so much before I started designing the layout. So I know Cartflows is a bit expensive. It's $299 per year. So this may be an option where the client may not want to go with, because it could be a bit expensive for them. But as a freelance designer, if you're going to be doing this kind of work, you can have the license. It gives you up to 30 websites. So it's much easier for you to work with as many websites as you can. In this case, 30. So yeah, that's how you do it. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.